By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what words and phrases will absolutely destroy a narcissist. So stick around. I've got a lot of good stuff for you today. Let's dive in. Tammy M. Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom Class and the Ascension Class. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comment section below. And if you're back, thanks for coming back and for tuning in. Either way, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. So let's talk about words and phrases that you can use that will absolutely destroy a narcissist. But before we dive into that, a word of warning. Seriously, you've got to know up front that silence, ambivalence, and complete disinterest are always going to be your most powerful tools when it comes to engaging with, or better yet, disengaging from a destructive narcissist. If you decide to take a narcissist on, you're not likely going to come out on the winning side of the equation. And here's why. You have empathy, you have a conscience, and hopefully you have relatively reasonable, healthy limits and boundaries, which means there's going to be a limit to what you're going to be willing to say or do to make your point, to be right, or to win. They don't. Narcissists don't have empathy. They're lacking in conscience to some degree, if not entirely, and they certainly don't have healthy limits and boundaries. And because of that, there is literally no limit to how far a narcissist will go to win, to be right, to hide their secrets, to cover up their relationship crimes, in addition to being seen and perceived as the victim, no matter how severely they've abused you on any level. And what's worse is you can count on the fact that they will seek revenge. One way or another, they're going to go out of their way to get back at you. In particular, if in their mind, you've given them good reason to target you. Like, for example, putting your hand up to be the object, volunteering, quite literally, to be the object or the target of their contempt, their disdain, and their sick, seething rage. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we have to roll over to these predators entirely, if ever. I personally do not allow bullies to push me around, no matter who they are. And plenty have been shocked to find out I don't make a very good target. But nor do I go looking for trouble unnecessarily, right? So when I determine that the person that I'm dealing with lands on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, I give them a wide berth. The higher on the spectrum they appear to be, the more distance I put between me and that individual, one way or another, right? Even if it takes some time and some maneuvering and you got to find a new job or whatever it is, distance between you and a predator is really always going to be your best bet, right? I get we can't always do that instantaneously, but that really needs to be the decision that we make. So again, I'm not saying we just roll over and let these people trample all over us, but let's not go out of our way putting our hand up volunteering to be a target when we could just as easily give them lots of room and space and focus on our own happy, healthy, productive life, right? So think long and hard before you go after a narcissist in any way, on any level. Ask yourself, is it going to be worth it? Are you strong enough to endure the inevitable backlash? Because it's coming. You can count on that. The truth is, if you're weak, fragile, hurting, or highly vulnerable for any reason, or if the narcissist is likely to take their anger out on children, animals, or otherwise defenseless beings in an attempt to get back at you by hurting others, be smart, keep your mouth shut, and do what you need to do to put some distance between you and the narcissist, between you and the predator, and protect the vulnerable, in the end, you'll be glad you did. Now, with that said, and assuming everyone is safe and you're in a strong enough position and you're feeling pretty bulletproof, here are some things you can say that will destroy a narcissist. And while you're at it, you want to keep two things in mind. First and foremost, it's all about the energy that you carry. It's about the strength, the certainty, and the clarity of the energy that you carry. How grounded, clear, strong, certain, fearless, bulletproof you are while you're delivering these statements. And secondly, they function as a pattern interrupt. This is why they work. They literally interrupt the narcissist's pattern, like when they're deep in their egotistical delusions of grandeur and overinflated false sense of superiority and sense of entitlement, right? Number one, how much fun do you think you are to be in a relationship with? And silence, not another word. Now, the truth is they may come back with whatever. It doesn't matter. If you deliver that and silence, not another word, no matter what they come back with, trust me, it lands. Number two, actually, you repulse me. Or I find you completely and utterly repulsive. Or you make my skin crawl. Poker face. Silence. Not another word. Enough said. Number three, I deleted your text, your email, your voicemail without even reading it or listening to it. And stone cold silence. Let the reality of what that says entirely land. And it will land deeply, I assure you. Number four, sounds like you're losing at life. Shocking. And silence. Number five, oh, please. And literally roll your eyes. In other words, you're not buying their BS. You know it, and they know it. So super short, super succinct, followed by silence, holding the vibe, strong, certain, and clear. And watch them crumble before your very eyes. Number six, it's over. And mean it. Followed by, you guessed it, silence. And complete, non-negotiable, detached energy. We're not playing games. I am done. Period. Number seven, actually, they want nothing to do with you. Or actually, they think you're a real slime bag. Or actually, they think you're ridiculous and laugh at you behind your back all the time. In other words, anything that communicates that this fake, phony facade, all this perception manipulation they got going on, this dog and pony show they're putting on, isn't working. Nobody is buying it. Number eight, oh, that's funny. You actually think I care what you think. Okay. Anything that communicates or infers that actually you're not really all that smart. In fact, it's pretty clear you're quite dim, or you're not so perfect. And actually, you're filled with flaws and shortcomings. Or, I get it, you want us all to believe you're superior, but the truth is, we all know the truth, right? Anything that shines a light on what might be going on behind the mask, behind the performance, that communicates clearly that we are onto you, will work to destroy a narcissist. Number 9, praise someone else in front of them. That's all it takes. Remember, we are dealing with, never mind appearances and the performance and all the convincing and perception manipulation that goes on. We are actually dealing with people who are fundamentally, constitutionally fearful, frightened, insecure, shame-based, little cowards and bullies at their core. That's the truth of what we're dealing with when we're dealing with destructive narcissists, right? So they don't like it when someone else is getting applause, getting praise, even if the other person fully deserves the applause and the praise, right? So you praise someone else in front of a narcissist, and that will cause them to come undone to some degree, if not entirely, depending on the circumstances. Even if they have to wait till they're back in their car or behind closed doors to fall apart. They don't like not being the center of attention, not being the one who is the most beautiful, the most attractive, the hottest, the sexiest, the most superior in whatever way that serves their particular distorted perceptions of reality and overinflated, grandiose egomania, right? So when someone else is getting the kudos that they deserve, the narcissist isn't getting the attention that they desperately crave. That's enough to cause them to crumble, which is, by the way, the reason they will do this to you. They love to play the game of triangulation, and they love to play the game of doing and saying things with deliberate intent to cause you to feel insecure, fearful, jealous, trigger any abandonment issues that you might be carrying, unhealed, unresolved, that they're aware of, right? They love to poke into that wound, and they assume that you carry the same levels of jealousy and envy. So they assume that if they are giving attention to and praising another, you're going to have the same feeling response to that situation that they would. Kind of crazy, but it's actually how they operate. Now, comment below and let me know whether or not you've ever seen that green with envy, hyper insecure, and jealous spirit manifest in the destructive narcissist in your life. And if so, was it because someone else was being given special attention or being edified for good reason, and that was enough to drive the narcissist crazy? And also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class, be sure to check out the links in the description below. All the information is there. You can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Number 10. Mention anything that highlights the fact that they're actually exploiting someone else or others with their overinflated sense of entitlement, and shine a light on their selfish and self-centered in the extreme attitudes and behaviors. They don't like having a light shone on them. They don't like someone even slightly inferring that there might be something inappropriate with their exploitative attitudes and behaviors, their deep-seated selfishness and self-centeredness, right? It's like lifting the rock and all the little squigglies of the truth of who they are. They don't want you lifting that rock. And lifting the rock and exposing all those little squigglies and the truth of who they are can be enough to destroy a narcissist. Number 11. Anything that infers that they are wrong. Number 12, anything that infers that they are actually inferior in any way. Number 13, mention anything that infers that you are onto them. You see right through them. In other words, they're plexiglass to you. Number 14, the truth is enough to destroy a narcissist. You know, I think it was last week, a client of mine posted a meme on Facebook that said, to enrage a normal person, lie to them. To enrage a narcissist, tell them the truth. I thought that was pretty accurate. What more can I say? Number 15, any negative feedback or perceived criticism. Number 16, that's none of your business. And silence. Number 17, I don't care. And silence. Number 18, I'm sorry, I'm not available. I already have plans. Or I have a date. Or worse, I've met someone else. What? They're not the center of your universe? Very effective. Remember, they are very, and I mean very, concerned with how others see and perceive them, right? Especially the covert narcissist, but even the more overt and grandiose narcissist, right? Like they actually can be quite obsessive about how others see them. They are also very easily offended. They are always on the lookout for anything that would offend them, right? They are easily offended, easily slighted. It really doesn't take very much. So when you insinuate or infer or outright communicate that they're actually not being seen in the light, that all their perception manipulation is intended to manipulate, right? Like they run all these perception manipulation games so that they can be seen in a certain light, right? And when you let them know one way or another that no one's buying it, whether that's you're not buying it or nobody is buying it. Either way, that's more than enough to have a narcissist come completely unglued. Number 19, because they are so seriously wrapped up in self, nose firmly embedded in navel, hanging on a little toesies, the whole world revolves around them, they're sure, convinced to a man that everyone must be talking about them. People are always gossiping about them, of course, and everyone must be talking about them, right? So when you point out that actually no one even noticed, or no one even noticed their absence, or no one even inquired, or no one seemed to give a shit at all. Let me tell you, you are getting to the core of it. Nobody even noticed. No one even inquired. Nobody cared at all. You find yourself faced with, remember the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz when doused with water? That's what you'll be dealing with. And then they will plot their revenge. And number 20, when it comes to words and phrases that destroy a narcissist, nothing, zero, nada. Absolute silence, completely disengaged, unaffected, disinterested, not interested, not affected, couldn't care less, right? They are dead to you. Attitude and energy, that, my friend, trumps everything, every time. Now, remember, in the process of destroying them, you will absolutely be inflicting narcissistic injury and thus inciting narcissistic rage, right? Which fundamentally means putting your hand up to be a target, like I said earlier. So, listen, if you're cool with that, cool, no problem. But it's important to understand before you make this decision that a smear campaign, as bad as that can be, might be the least of your worries, right? If they can't come after you, they are often capable of coming after children or animals. In other words, they'll hurt you through them, right? And nobody wants that to happen. The truth is, the more high spectrum they are, the less likely this is going to end well for you. So please heed my advice. Always, always choose your battles wisely. And whatever you do, never, ever, ever put yourself or others in harm's way just to get your own ego needs met, to have the last word, to win the right fight. It's never going to be worth it. So all that I have shared with you today is assuming you're in a situation where you're strong enough and you and others are safe enough that that is a non-issue. Operating under that assumption first and foremost. And with that, I'm going to call it a wrap. My friends, I hope you got some value out of this today. If you liked what you heard, be sure to drop me a like and a comment. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. Share it with your friends if you think it would be helpful. And again, if you're new to my channel, great big huge welcome. So happy to have you here. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. And once again, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class, you can check out the links in the description below, and there is a link where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. And if you like this video, be sure to check out my other videos, powerful phrases to disarm a narcissist and what to say to a narcissist to shut them down permanently. And with that, I will leave you with this. Know your value. Know your value and unlock your freedom. Thanks for tuning in, friends. See you next time.